You know, Illinois recently introduced new testing benchmarks, and on paper, the numbers look better. But let's be clear, changing benchmarks does not change reality. According to the Illinois School Report Card, about 30% of students statewide are proficient in math. For Black students, that number often falls between 17 and 25%, depending on the grade. In English, around 50% of students statewide meet proficiency. But for Black students, that number drops to roughly 30 to 37%, while white students often are above 60% proficiency in the same grades. Now, even after the benchmarks were adjusted, these gaps remain wide. That's not progress. That's a system failing the same children generation after generation. That's why I always say your role isn't to reform a broken system that's working just as intended, but it's to take back your authority over your child's education. And many of us are aware that this failure isn't new. Over 90 years ago, Booker T. Washington and Carter G. Woodson exposed this. You know, Washington emphasized self determination, skill mastery, and economic independence. And Woodson warned that government education miseducates Black children by design. And here we are, nearly a century later. What has changed? Nothing. What? New language, new benchmarks, new promises, but the same outcomes are still there. That's why homeschooling and microschools and community based schools and one room schoolhouses, all those educational models work. And the data proves it. Homeschool students score 15 to 25 percentile points higher than their public school peers, and Black homeschool students outperform their public school peers by as much as 23 to 42% points in reading and in math. This is what happens when education is intentional, personalized, and rooted in identity and purpose. So let me be clear. Homeschooling, in my opinion, is not just an alternative. It is a solution. And yes, it requires sacrifice. And yes, it's going to require courage, but your children are worth it.